Grazing is crucial to the maintenance and to the management of the new forest. Without livestock grazing the forest, it would return to scrub and ultimately woodland, losing the splendour, colour, shape and the unique fauna and flora it currently sustains. The rights of the commoners to depasture livestock on the forest goes back to the time of William the Conqueror. Some commoning families have grazed the forest for over 300 years. The traditional management practices and the social structure of these families represent an aspect of the New Forest's cultural heritage that is probably unique in Western Europe.
This one's a young commoner.
Since 1991, Dr Jo Ivey, herself a commoner, has conducted a census and survey on commoning for the verderers every 10 years. The 2011 census was funded by the Higher Level Stewardship scheme, and it complements the national census to give an accurate picture of the state of commoning in the New Forest.
The visible part of commoning is the New Forest pony, and possibly the cattle, but not very much. And the commoner has for a long time been invisible. He's now more visible, but most of the people who come to the forest don't have any conception of how the forest is managed by the livestock owners.
There's no doubt that commoning has changed.
Many years ago it was an economic way of life. People could actually make more money or live more comfortably on a holding in the forest than they could on a similar holding in the Midlands or somewhere, certainly in the 19th century. Gradually that situation has been eroded to the point where commoners no longer are able to make any money out of their stock unless they are very fortunate. And most of them put considerable sums of their own money into it. Some commoners view it as a hobby, but most would say that they do it just for the love of it and for the love of their animals.
The use of the livestock marking fee records show that since the early 1960s, the numbers of livestock and commoners have undergone change.
Since 1965, the number of commoners has doubled. And the number of ponies has doubled as well, very much in line with that. Whereas the number of cattle has gone up and down, very much more in terms of the markets.
The present census has 5 sections covering people's commoning history, the composition of their commoning household, the problems they feel they must face, and their experience of the present support they receive. A final section is aimed at the young commoners to find what commoning aspirations they hope to attain.
80% of commoners turn out ponies, and only about 20% turn out cattle. And of those commoners turning out ponies, the great majority only turn out a very small number of ponies. And at the other extreme, you've got a few commoners who turn out very large numbers of ponies.
This census gives a clear view on how commoners perceive their role in the New Forest and what needs to be done to help and promote the New Forest commoners and their stock. With this knowledge, it will aid the Higher Level Stewardship scheme to ensure a successful and potentially prosperous future for the commoning generations to come.